What's up? Brandon Lilly here. Got a question today at lilytraining@yahoo.com. The question that came through is, why do you do these videos in your truck? Well, I don't know why that's important, but one of the things I do know is that a lot of people say it annoys them. So the real reason that I do it is, the basic answer is because I fucking want to. The long-winded answer, the politically correct answer is, when I drive, I usually don't listen to the radio. I usually don't listen to anything. If I listen to the radio, it's on the way to the gym, and I might listen to some talk show podcast or something like that. But most of the time, I just think about things. I try to tune out and let my mind run a little bit. And a lot of times when I get these questions in, I'll read new information, or I'll research them a little bit, and it stays on my mind. And then when I come to the point where I'm going to be driving somewhere for 45 minutes, why not make a 7-minute video? Hands-free device. It's locked in, not going anywhere. It's totally safe. I'm not even addressing the camera. I'm just looking at the road, and I'm just letting my thoughts run. So that's the politically correct answer. The other answer is because I fucking want to. The next question that came through, and I get this in a lot of different ways: what method is best for me? What method is best for powerlifting? As a powerlifter, what method should I use? And look, I'll be the first to tell you, the cube method is out there, and it's a good method. Is it the best method in the world? Who knows? I believe in it. I use it. There are a lot of people who believe in it and use it. The best method that's out there is the one that you completely understand, can absorb and apply to yourself, and the one that you believe in. The best method out there may be taking parts of one, mixing with another. And the truest expression I ever heard from a strength coach was, the perfect method is the one that combines them all. And that's really the truth of it. There's so much information. There are so many effective methods out there that why not read as many of them as you can and apply pieces to your own training. I think it's a good thing for younger lifters to have a foundational reference, such as, the West Side method, or the cube method, or 5-3-1, something along those lines. It gives them structure. But as you come up as a lifter, I really think you should develop your own style. Even, I'm not going to name any names, but there are guys that train at some big level gyms that have a method named after the gym that, if you looked at it compared to what's in the methods book and what they're actually doing, it's about 50-50. They'll do the basics that's outlined in their methodology, but then the next 50%, and probably the part that's 99% important, is the work that they apply to themselves after the base work. They apply the accessory work to their dependent needs. If they're tricep deficient, they're going to do a lot more tricep work. Maybe you can eliminate a little bit of shoulder work if you're shoulder dominant. The only place that I would say not to back down if you are dominant is the back. If you're a leg dominant person or a quad dominant person versus a hamstring dominant person, maybe you can slow down on the quad training specificity for a little bit and hit the hamstrings for a while. But if a book just tells you to do leg curls and tells you to do front squats or something like that, if that's all it says, well, it's most likely just an example. It's not saying this is the perfect exercise for everyone under the sun, because that's what irks me about methods that say, oh, this is backed by science, this is backed by university testing and all this stuff. Guess what? The biggest variable in this world is probably the human body. Things affect us differently. So a method that's good for 10 guys over here might be bad for me. So, you've got to understand what you're jumping into before you do it. Perfect example, and I'm not picking on Westside. The Westside method is awesome. Produced numerous world records, tons of elite totals, especially when elite meant something. They were producing big totals, and world championships all the way down the line. But where are those kind of statistics outside of Westside? Yes, a lot of guys that train Westside are doing big numbers, huge numbers. I myself trained the Westside method for 10 years and achieved a 2,500 pound total in multiply, which at the time was a pretty damn good total. And then right around that time, Dave Hoff hit his stride, and kind of knocked everybody into the next stratosphere along with Donnie Thompson. So, and Donnie Thompson's a perfect example of taking as many methodologies and just applying what works. Donnie Thompson has a 3,000 pound total in multiply, and before people rip on him, or even Hoff, before people rip on either one of those guys as gear only guys, whatever, I've trained with both of them, and neither guy's is very shabby at all as a raw lifter. I mean, Donnie's got a big 2,000 plus total. I can't remember it exactly, but it's massive, and he did it raw and multiply. And Hoff, if he ever goes to raw, you're going to see a great lifter there. I mean, he's just a strong individual. And you take a strong individual with an understanding of a method, and you take a sound method, you're probably going to get some great results. But nobody's matching the numbers that are being produced at Westside, and that's because you have superior coaching in there every single day in Louis. You have a guy who's coached literally thousands of athletes, lifters, and he loves the sport of powerlifting. He's seen every kind of form. He's seen every kind of body type come along. So he has a tremendous amount of knowledge. He's probably seen your mistake 1,000 times, so he knows the answer right away. Oh, arch your back a little bit or bring your elbows in. That kind of stuff can't be replicated once you've read a book. You know, once you read the book, you have to be smart enough to adapt things to yourself, or find people that you trust enough to coach you. You know, that's one thing I've always been lucky to have, is great people around me, other lifters that are just, they have great eyes. You know, they watch exactly what I'm doing. They see enough repetitions, they start picking things apart. And that's just, those things are just as important to me, if not more important. Actually, they are more important than the methodology, because methodologies can come and go. I trained on 5-3-1, I got stronger. I trained on the Westside method, I got stronger. I trained Shako, I got stronger. You know, I trained the Cube method, I got stronger. And is it, you know, kind of on reflection of the genetics video the other day, is it because of my genetics, or did somewhere along the way I pick up some pretty good coaching, pick up some pretty good understanding of these methodologies that I was applying to myself? The answer is, I always had good coaching from day one, and I was around people who had a proper understanding of what the Westside method was. Guys who had driven up there and trained numerous times, came back and kind of broke down things that were unclear as a trainer without that knowledge. So, you know, I became well aware of a lot of methods and started to understand training because of the good people that I trained with. And that can carry you just as far as anything. And the other thing that you got to have, no matter what, like I said, you got to have belief in the system, but you got to have effort. You know, no method without effort is going to be anything. So I hope what I've tried to help you understand here is it can be confusing. It can be overwhelming to pick a method. There's 1,000 of them out there. Just don't program hop. Give a program enough time to work before you start any method. Read about it, talk to people who've done it, try to understand it as much as you can, so when you jump in feet first, you're actually going to get the most out of it, and not just something, you know, that you just limp your way through, you know, not really understanding. So that's it for today. Send your guys' questions to lilytraining@yahoo.com. I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks.